Thank you, Michael. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
How are you?
Good, good. I just want to ask what this week is like because it's so unusual in that normally when you have a tournament, it's really quick and quick turnarounds and trying to figure everything out. But now with this whole week in between games where you can kind of reset, how does it kind of change the pacing and how you kind of handle a tournament like this?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Having a week before games is definitely unusual, but I think it's a good thing as well because it gives us time to kind of reset, prepare mentally for the knockout stages, and then get some good training sessions in, which we have today, and yeah, day by day, just preparing more and more for Canada now.
Next will be Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, Matt. Good to see you, man. Just wanted to ask, what your thoughts are on Canada. What sort of challenges do they present? How do you see the match playing out?
Yeah, we haven't really saw any video yet on them. I think the plan is for tomorrow to do that. But it's a knockout stage game. Every game in the knockout stage when it's an elimination game is difficult. So we're expecting a good Canadian team that's motivated to win, just like we are. So we're excited for the matchup, and yeah, this is why we play these games. Who will be the better team on the night? That's who's going to win, right? So let's see how that goes.
Next will be Brian Sciaretta from American Soccer Now.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Michael. Greetings from New Jersey. Listen,
Yeah.
question for you. When you returned to Cincinnati, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the growth you've seen from yourself at this club and maybe compare the league in terms of what it was like when you left New York and what it's like now since you came back. And also, can you talk a little bit about Brandon Vasquez? I'm playing with him. He looks like his stock is doing well. He's improved as a player, but what you see in his game since you've arrived in Cincinnati?
We're supposed to be next to me right now doing it together, but he doesn't like me so much, so he wants to come after. But no.
That's the rumor we started.
Yeah, the league has grown a lot since I left in 2015, beginning of 2016. Obviously, the quality and level of play is much higher now. You see a lot of more foreign players coming in with a lot of quality and a lot of clubs investing and paying a lot of money for these foreign players. And I think the average American footballer has gotten much better as well. So you can see the league has grown tremendously. There's going to be 30 teams now coming in 2025. So even when I was in Europe, all my teammates in Europe and the clubs I've played for have always been asking about MLS. They want to come in. I think it's so intriguing for the professional footballer to come play in America. So in that aspect, the league has gotten so much better, and I'm glad to be a part of it again. In terms of FC Cincinnati, as you can see, we've been doing really well this year. We've been able to find a good balance with the team and all the players, and I think that we have a really good chance of doing something special this year. So long may it continue. We've added some new players as well, so excited about that. And then for Brandon, I think since I got in there, August of 2022, I didn't really know much about Brandon, but he's obviously shown a great goal scoring threat. He does a lot of good things off the ball that some people don't even notice. For strikers, everybody looks at goals. How many goals are we scoring? What are my stats? Have I scored in back-to-back games or consecutive games? But he does a lot of stuff off the ball that is really important. He holds up the ball really well. He makes those runs in the channel. He defends really well. He's a presence. He's physical. So he's like a total package. So, for FCC, we're grateful to have him. And then obviously, me and him were able this past year get a lot closer. And now being with the national team, we spend every day together. So we became closer friends as well. So now him being a part of the U.S. is nice as well, and he deserves it. So big credit to him. He keeps developing. He's still fairly young. He's getting older, but compared to me, he's fairly young. So he has a lot more to grow and a lot more to improve. So his future is very, very bright.
We'll go to Pat Brennan from the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Michael, thanks a lot. Can you guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, you doing all right?
How are you, bro? Long time.
Good, man. Good to talk to you. I wonder, Pat Noonan and Alvaro were previewing the Charlotte match today out in Milford, and Pat said that he planned on going to the game, your game, on Sunday night. and it just made me wonder, like, what's it gonna? How do you imagine you'll experience this, wearing the national team shirt in the city that you know, where you play for the club, but also, you know, the club, I think to a large degree will be there rooting you on and watching you, and just it's a pretty unique experience in that way. I wonder if you've imagined what that will feel like.
Yeah, it's awesome to go back to Cincinnati wearing the U.S. crest. I missed out on the last few times, but we all know the atmosphere and the support that Cincinnati brings for soccer. So it's exciting to be there with the U.S. At a high level. So it's going to be a good moment for me, and I'm sure Brandon. But you know, the most important thing is obviously being mentally focused and preparing for Canada. But I've been getting a lot of support already from a lot of teammates and coaching staff. A lot of our coaches already represented the U.S. in some capacity, even coached at the level. I won the 2017 Gold Cup with Kenny Arena as an assistant and Pat Noonan as assistant. So there's a little bit of history there. Obviously, Dom Kinnear has played for the U.S. in the past. So there's a lot of connections in that aspect. So it's going to be nice. I think it's going to be a nice moment. And every time the U.S. has come to Cincinnati, it's always been a good atmosphere and a good crowd. As we all know, we always do that. So yeah, it'll be exciting.
This will be the USMNT's third visit to TQL Stadium and the organization's fourth overall, including the 2-0 win against Mexico in World Cup qualifying. We'll continue with Jeremy Rout from Fox 19.
Matt, certainly I know you've been able to wear USA plenty of times. You talked about coming back to Cincinnati, but just how much pride do you take in the ability to do that and to do that in Cincinnati in this kind of special event on Sunday?
Yeah, it's nice. Of course, playing for the U.S. is always the highest honor and highest privilege, and to come to a stadium where you basically can call it home now is definitely special. So it's an exciting moment, and I'm happy about it, and I think that it's going to be a great game and a great atmosphere, and hopefully we got to make sure that we get the W and move on.
We'll go to Seth Vertelny from USA Today.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the time, Matt. You've been pretty open in the past that your relationship with Greg Berhalter hasn't always been what you had hoped for. I think the phrase that you used was, "We haven't always seen eye to eye." So I'm wondering now that Greg's back, if you have had the chance to speak with him, if you're planning on speaking with him, and just like what your hopes are for that relationship moving forward as you hope to get more call-ups once Greg comes back in.
Yeah, no, I haven't spoken to him since right before the World Cup when he called me. But yeah, the past is the past. You know, at the end of the day, nobody really cares about what happened in the past. You know, things move on, and now I'm excited to be wearing the crest again. And then obviously Greg has the job, so I got to make sure that, you know, I got to control what I can control, and make sure that I can play well and do well here and do well with FC Cincinnati, and hopefully the rest can take care of itself. So I'm looking forward to it.
Next will be Hector Lazzari.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, Matt. Hector Lazzari from Color Sports in Mexico City. I wanted to ask you, you are one of the more experienced players in this team, this edition of the U.S. men's national team. You played all the way back in the 2017 Golf Cup. There's this idea for many years, and also here in Mexico, that CONCACAF is only about the U.S. and Mexico, but now you're facing Canada, a team that you played the Nations League final or went to the World Cup. Jamaica was really a hard team in the first match. Do you think the region has grown a lot generally in level, and what do the U.S. and also Mexico need to do to keep on top of the stands here in the region?
Yeah, I definitely think CONCACAF has gotten better. I think a lot of the countries around us have improved. Like you said, Jamaica has a lot of good players playing a lot of big leagues. Costa Rica has always been strong and powerful. Panama has good players. Canada has come up recent times, and obviously, you know, with the history of it all, U.S. and Mexico has always been the strongest teams. But I think the level is definitely raised. You see a lot of countries now, a lot of smaller countries, like for example Guadeloupe or Martinique. They've had great performances in the group stages. So there's definitely the level of play is definitely increased and improved. And I think in order for the U.S. to stay on top, I think it's just to continue to do what we do, invest in the youth, churn out young players to continue developing, and the next generations to keep improving and following up after us. So it's day by day, year by year. I think you see a lot of young players coming from the U.S. That are improving, going to Europe, playing MLS minutes, and that's a really good thing for us.
Last question from Matt comes from Andrew Jones.
Thanks, Mike.
You don't want to join me, bro?
You need me to pay you?
Yeah. No,
Perfect timing for you, Double M. Thanks, Michael, for that. Clifton's finest right here. Matt Miazga, wanted to ask you, man, you spoke about those young players and developing those young players, and you've had a chance to partner alongside Jalen Neal so far this tournament. What's been your assessment with him, and how you were in that position of being a young center back, and you're still young, and having that major move over to Europe? Just your thoughts about the great success that you're having with FC Cincinnati. How's it been working with Pat Noonan, and how he contrasts with how BJ Callahan is giving great energy to?
Yeah, Jalen's situation reminds me of myself. I think he's 19, 20. I was 19, 20 playing for Red Bull back in 2015. So it's kind of it's not really often where you have a lot of young center backs playing at a young age. So that kind of reminds me, a young American center back, and he's done really well. He has a lot of good traits. So I'm happy to see, another young defender coming up through the ranks. Because it's always important for the U.S. in general. So fair play to him. And with Pat's been amazing. Pat's been really good. He's obviously been a player, so I think he does a really good job about managing the locker room and all the personalities on our team, which is really important for us to be successful. And obviously you can see with our results and the way we're playing, we're a very dynamic and exciting team. And I think he's done a really good job, as well as the coaching staff around him, to kind of bring out the best in us and have that balance and to keep pushing forward. So we're in a good moment, a good situation right now with FCC, and long may it continue.